Hey, this is Soki Briggs again here at the Charlotte Kidokime-ryu Karate-do class. We've done Shiketo. We're going to do our last MTN kata that we're going to put on our YouTube channel for a while. This is the black belt kata. We've already done all of our Q grade kata, all the way from black belt to our last and final brown belt. So the reason that we're going to do even this one black belt kata and put it on YouTube is for those that are training all the way from the white belt to their black belt, at least they'll have this kata to go by and stuff. Once you start, or once you receive your first black belt, then you should be doing more and more training with me to get that second degree black belt, third degree, and so forth and so on, which we can work on personally. But tonight we're going to put the last and final empty hand kata, which is our showdown kata, our first degree black belt kata, on YouTube. We're going to do it tonight. Again, we're going to do it 3 different views. We'll do it the first view, where you're done, she's standing at now, and she'll start out facing the camera and coming toward the camera with the first few moves. The second view we do, she'll actually start out with her back to the camera and going away from the camera, and then the third and final view that we do with this black belt kata, then what I'll do is, as she's doing the movements, we'll just be walking our way through the kata, and I'll explain exactly what it is that she's doing and when she's doing it and so forth, to kind of break the kata down to give you a better understanding of it. Again, this is the way we do these katas in Kidokime-ryu Karate-do. The name of the kata we're doing tonight is Baisai. There are tons of different ways of doing this kata. There's also Baisai Dai, Baisai Sho. We're just doing Baisai. And I personally have seen over 20, 30 different ways of doing this kata. This is the way Kidokime-ryu does it. This is the only acceptable way of doing Baisai when you're testing in Kidokime-ryu Karate-do. There's no other way. Just like our color belt katas, there's a specific way you've got to do these katas. That's why we're doing them and putting them on YouTube. The same thing with Baisai that your Dansha here is going to do. This is the way we do it. This is the only acceptable way of doing this kata in Kidokime-ryu. So, with all that being said, ma'am, are you ready to do your kata?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Kata Baisai.
Okay, so that's the front view of doing Baisai. Like I said, we're going to do this from 3 different views. What she's going to do now is do the view where the camera's going to actually start out to her back, and she's going to be working her way away from the camera at the beginning of this movement. As you can see, Baisai has got a ton of blocks. It's got a ton of shutos. The specific shutos that we do in Baisai are what we call hidden shutos. You know, where the hand comes out, comes behind the back and comes out. And we'll explain those later when we do the third and final version of Baisai, when I explain that to the camera, as Yudansha is actually doing the kata on their last and final view. So this kata, as you also saw, has 2 ki eyes in it. Okay, it's got a lot of quick movement in it, and you're just kind of like up and down, moving from side to side. It's got some sweeps in it. It's got some crescent kicks in it, and so forth and so on. And it's got some front kicks in it. So as you can see, Baisai has a lot of different things added into it that you haven't saw on any of our Q belt katas, our color belt katas, up to this point. But that's why it's a black belt kata. It's more difficult, and it's got more moves in it, and the speed variations are a little different. So as you can see, all this culminates and comes together, and it forms up the Baisai kata. By the way, Baisai means penetrate the fortress. So with that being said, we'll now start and get ready to do the second view. Are you ready, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Kata, Baisai.
So now we'll do our third and final view. You've seen Baisai from the front, you've seen it from the rear, you've seen it in 2 different views. Now we're going to break the kata down move by move by move and explain the kata this way so that you get a better understanding of exactly what it is that is happening during a kata. And like I said before, right before the second view, this kata has got a ton of blocks in it. This kata's got a ton of shutos in it. The shutos that is done in Baisai are hidden shutos, which means you come behind your back with one hand and back to the rear shoulder with the other hand before you come out and strike with it. It's got front kicks in it, it's got crescent kicks in it, it's got sweeps with a hand, it's got back fist in it. And it's got a side kick in it, a low side kick to the knee where you actually snap the knee. So there's just tons and tons of things going on in this specific kata. Again, before we do this, I want to stress this again and again and again. The way we do our katas in here are the standard for Kidokime-ryu Karate-do. We know and we realize there's different ways of doing these katas, depending on what organization you're in, what style you're training under, what system you're training under, or whatever. But this is our standard, what we go by on our standards. So now, with all that being said, we're going to break this down and do it move by move by move, okay? And see if we can explain this kata and what is actually happening in it so you get a better view of what exactly is going on. So with that being said, now, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So she'll actually start out into a ready stance here. What she's going to do once she's into a ready stance is going to bring her feet together, and then she's going to bow. She's going to bring her feet together, bow, come back up into a ready stance, and now she's going to bring her, when she comes in, she'll bring her feet together, bend her knees, and she's going to make a fist with her right hand and cover it with the palm of her left hand. Go ahead, ma'am. And as you can see, she's going to start bringing this up to her chest. When it gets up to her chest and starts to go out, she'll grab her fist, and then as it goes back down this way, she straightens her body up. Once she straightens up to this point, she's going to have about a count of 3, and then she's going to rotate to the left, counterclockwise like this, and then step out with a block right there. Now, as you can see, she's done this block in a hook stance. She's immediately going to turn around facing me. Go ahead. She's going to turn around facing me and unfold into another, and you can't see this from here, but she's going to unfold into a middle outside block. And then she's going to go straight into another one. Bam. And then she's going to turn around and do the same thing. You see she come in with a middle inside block, now middle outside block. She does that. Now at this point, she's going to drop this right leg back off and sweep a kick that's coming to the thigh and do another block. You see she comes up another middle outside block, and then she's going to come back around and do this. Once she gets to this point, she's actually going to jump from here, turn around and face the camera in a horse stance, and this left hand that is doing this block is going to come to the left shoulder, and she's going to start sweeping it out with an open palm block. Okay? And you should see she's going to start sweeping it out to this point. She's going to sweep it all the way across this shoulder in a horse stance. Now what she's going to do, she's going to pivot real deep to her left and strike with a right fist, and then she's going to block it. She's going to do the same thing to the other side. She's going to pivot and block. Now, this is where these hidden shutos are going to come in. She's now going to start charging at the opponent, coming at the opponent, doing these hidden shutos. And she's going to do 3 of these. Go ahead, ma'am. There's 1, 2, 3. Once she does 3, now she's going to take 1 backward. Same thing, hidden shuto backward. Now she's going to take her left hand and grab it with her right hand like she's grabbing the throat, and she's going to squeeze and slowly pulling it into her body. And then she's going to stop. Once she gets to this point, simultaneously she's going to jerk that into her body and come up with her right leg and side kick the knee to snap the knee while she's doing the ki and turn around and do a shuto back to this side. Okay? And that is going to be the first ki. Now from here, she's going to do it again. Another hidden shuto. And then her next move, go. And she's going to come up. Once she comes up to this point, it's like somebody's going to bear hug her. She's going to break the bear hug and step out and do a double hammer fist to the ribs. Go now. Step out, double hammer fist to the ribs. Now she's going to do a quick step, just a 1-2 quick step, and punch directly on her opponent. Go. As you can see, she's done that. Once she gets to this point, she's going to kick this back leg around and come back with a hand that's in the punch, and she's going to go straight to the groin and pull it back. Okay? Now, she's come back to this point. So what she's going to do now is she's going to, with her right leg, she's going to come around, she's going to crescent kick, she's going to raise this, or open this hand up, and raise her palm up, crescent kick the palm of her hand, and then do a forearm smash, and land in a horse stance. Good? Crescent kick, forearm smash. Once she gets to this point, she's going to do that double block. Good? What she just did here is exactly what she's going to do on this side. She's going to crescent kick, forearm smash, and the double block. Okay? And then the double block. 1, 2. All right? Now, from this point, once she gets here, she's going to bring her right foot back to her left foot and cover up her right hand over her left hand. Go ahead. And she's going to step out and do a double punch, or some styles, like we refer to it as a round head blow, to strike their opponent. Boom, right here. She's going to come back to the opposite side of her body. Before she steps out and strikes, this time she's going to do a front kick and then step out and strike. Front kick, step out and strike again. She's going to come back to the opposite side of her body and do the same thing. Front kick, double smash. Right there. And now, once she does this, she's going to kick this back leg out, and she's going to sweep the legs and do a back fist. Good? Now she's going to rotate and do the same thing to the other side. And now she's going to step around into a horse stance and come down real slowly, like this, to block in the center of the chest, underneath her groin, and pause there. When she gets to this point, she's going to come up. You'll see both feet come off the ground, and she's going to come up and do what we refer to as a kill shot with a left fist straight to the ground, and that's going to be her second kiai. Now, from here, once she gets this done, she's going to step back and do another one of those hidden shutos. And then she's going to step forward and do another hidden shuto. And now, once she's at this, she's almost wrapped up on her kata. So she's going to bring the left foot back to the right and cover that fist up, cover that right fist up with her left hand again. She's going to bring it right back up to the center of the chest, grab hold of it, push it out, and as the hand starts coming down, she straightens her body back up. And once she straightens her body back up like that, the only thing she does is bring her hands straight back to her side, and she bows out at the kata. And then she comes back down into a ready stance. And that is step by step by step how we do Baisai here in Kidokime-ryu Karate-do. Like I said, there's tons of ways of doing this kata. I have seen Hapkido do a version of it. I've seen Taekwondo do a version of it. I've seen American Karate-do do a version of it. I've seen Japanese versions of it. And I've seen multiple versions from all of those do it. Okay? But this is the standard of how we do Baisai here at Kidokime-ryu Karate-do. If you train in this style, this is our standard here. So you can go back again and watch her do these from the front view, from the back view, or step by step like this, any way that you want to do it, and see clearly exactly what she's doing the entire time through this entire kata. And that's why we do these videos. And this is going to end our series for the time being of our empty hand kata. We've done all the color belt katas, all the way from white belt, all the way up to your final brown belt. And this is the shodan, or the first degree black belt kata right here. And this is going to be where it's going to stop for the time being, because now we've taken you in our empty hand kata from white belt all the way up to black belt. And before I end that, I want to thank the three ladies in Kidokime-ryu Karate-do, all three of the black belt instructors that has helped me do these katas. I've done none of them. I've trained them how to do them, and of course they all know how to do these katas, and they perform the katas, so I can take you step by step by step, explaining to you what's next and so forth. And without these three ladies helping me do these katas, we would never have been able to get this videotaped and get it put on YouTube. So thank you, Dansha Kato. I want to thank you, Dansha Kara, and I want to thank Sensei Briggs, because without those three ladies actually doing these katas, all the cube grade katas all the way up from the yellow stripe kata all the way to the black belt kata, without them doing it so I can take you through and explain step by step, we would have never got this done on here. And they've taken turns about videotaping it, they've taken turns about doing these katas. So if you have any questions about any of the katas that Kidokime-ryu does, you know, you can go to our YouTube channel, you can watch it, you can contact me on Facebook, Kidokime-ryu Karate-do, whatever, however way that you wish to do that. and we can answer any questions that you may have. And with that, we want to also wish you all a Merry Christmas, because it's a week before Christmas, and we hope that you have a happy and safe New Year. Thank you.